Your call has been forwarded to automatic voice message system 92921.
All right. Well, I guess it's just going to be me for this one because I was going to call somebody, my brother to be exact, who is an artist and also like a teacher, like art teacher, and also a children's book author. And the video that I wanted to do was, or is, making a career out of the creative field and specifically doing it without any formal schooling because my brother's done it, I've done it, and he knows people that have done it. He's actually known and he knows so many people that he's just met throughout the years because he's like one of those sociable people. Like he really is good with like just freaking talking to people and, being that guy that people just love to be around. That's one of his strong suits. If I'm burping a lot, it's because I had a prime and it's making me burp a lot. But anyways, still going to talk about it just because I am pushing out content. But pretty much, here's the deal. Anything is possible. Everybody says it. It's corny, but it's true, right? If you do something enough, you can make it happen, Alex Hormozy said volume negates luck. It's so true. I'm not even going to lie to you, gang. It is super true. Volume totally negates luck. If you do something enough times, you'll eventually get it. Now, each field is a little bit different and some are more difficult than others. I would say that being an artist can be harder than, say, like something that I do, cinematography or videography, photography, whatever. Not because, the actual art is more difficult. It's different, but it's not more difficult. But what it is for art, the value comes from who you are. The value doesn't come from the work you produce. I know that we all have seen certain artists that are famous that create terrible artwork. And honestly, there are some artists out there that, for me personally, I don't understand it, right? Like I see a Basquiat painting, I know he's one of the greats now, but I see a Basquiat painting and I'm like, okay, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, lots of colors, lots of shapes, but I don't quite get it. And it's not because his art is any, some different stuff. It's because it's him, he built a brand, whether he did it intentionally or not, it doesn't matter. But his whole aesthetic, probably being like a street crackhead that, makes art and, is a person with texture and stuff like that. That's a part of his brand. And he was able to create this brand and sell it, maybe not while he was alive, but after the fact, it was able to be sold on his behalf, right? And so that's a lot of the case for, I'd say, the majority of creative fields, For me and my job, it's partially how good my work is, and it's also partially how much people like me, I might do so much better work than other videographers on the island, which I do. On Long Island, I do a lot better work. My work is a lot better than, I'd say, over half of the videographers. I'm not going to count cinematographers that have crew and have all the lighting and different things like that. That's a whole different ball game because that's not something that I do on a day-to-day basis. I could do it, but it's not something that I do. But anyways, out of the videographers on the island, I'm in the top 50%, right? Do I get the top 50% of business? Heck no. You know why? Because I'm not established yet to the point where I could get top 50% business. To be honest, my work doesn't reflect how my business is doing. I could spend so much time money and effort perfecting my craft, getting the best gear kit and everything. But if people don't know who I am and don't like me and don't trust me and don't get a reference or a referral from somebody else, I could have zero business. I promise you. So as a creative, technically, it's not hard to make money and build a business out of your creative field. The hard part is realizing it has nothing to do with the quality of your work, and it has everything to do with who you are and who you know. And it's the hard truth that I think most people have to come to realize, including myself, because for the first, couple months of me running the business, I was so focused on learning, everything, and trying to be the best at everything, which in fact, I don't have to do it. Now I sit here and I'm like, okay, I'm at this level where I am better than most of these other people, but I don't have to edit in Premiere Pro and then After Effects and do all this different stuff. I color grade my footage in Premiere Pro and throw that MNFer right into CapCut and edit in there because it's faster. It's easier. And the people that I do use it with or that I do edit like that with are the ones that don't even know what they're wanting or what they're expecting, they might here's the thing, and it's really hard to explain, but it's like somebody will see my work and they'll be like, wow, this is really good, and not use me. Somebody is going to be told about my work and never see it, and they will use me. So me editing or what I edit in or what I even do with my edits has no effect on my business at all. It's about other people speaking about me and my name, Karma Photos, being out there. Now, how does this apply to other creative fields? If you're an artist, same thing, getting your name out there. My brother was on the Kelly Clarkson show just because his name was out there and his group's name was out there. He's been on different publications and all this different stuff because his name was spoken about in rooms that he wasn't in. Feel me? And graphic designers. I mean, yeah, you could pitch your services, but you're going to have a way easier time if somebody refers you. Somebody's looking for a graphic designer and then somebody says, oh, I know this guy. If you're the guy, oh, you're getting that bag. I promise you. You want to become that guy. You want to be that guy, And it's a little bit of a hit to the ego almost, because we value our art, but the world doesn't quite value our art. The world values almost vanity, The world values what other people value. Feel me? And what that just means is that, they don't care about your art, but they care about other people speaking about you. I promise you. I promise you. So again, when you are a creative and you're trying to get into this creative field and make a business out of it, you have to kind of engrave that into your mind that, yo, honestly, after a certain point, maybe 20% of your time should be spent getting better at what you do. And then the other 80% should just be networking, speaking to people, getting your name out there, being liked, working on how people can just like you and want you. You're like, you got to be like a lady. You got to be a hot girl. You got to be a hot chick. You got to have everybody want you, and not everybody can get you. You want to be like a hot commodity, because customers, they are super, super, super vain, and especially when you're working with people that actually have a budget. Now, people that have no budget, they'll just pick the cheapest person. And of course, they'll get cheapest person product. But, in terms of actually getting something good, they're going to be bougie and spend on the guy that people just love and are sitting there just like, oh yeah, he's great. Have you actually looked at his work? Have you compared his work to this person's work? Him being so great is just what? I don't, there really isn't anything great. It's almost like that effect of a videographer filming an expensive house, but the video is terrible, versus somebody filming a terrible house and the video is great. You know, people are just going to look at the expensive house and be like, this video is so amazing, not because of the quality of the video, but because the value of the home that it's shooting. Feel me? So again, you know, and another way that this sort of can be translated and how you can leverage this against yourself is by doing free stuff with important people. You don't have to do free stuff with people that are not important. You know, that's one thing that a lot of people don't share, especially on the internet, because most people, they'll say, start off doing free stuff, start off doing free stuff. I never did that. I never started off doing free stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. But what would be helpful is doing free stuff for people that are popular, people that are important, people that other people admire. You know, you want to get into the medical space, you're going to want to go to the biggest plastic surgeon, cosmetic dentist, med spa in your city, the biggest one, the one that everybody knows. Do some free work for them. You can give them the whole 9 with it too. You can give them a brand story video. You can give them this, and that. You do that entire thing for free. When you pitch it to everybody else is going to be like, you worked with them? And they're just going to jump on it just because they want that. They want to be that client. That's who they admire and who they envy and who they want to be. So if you have that person in your portfolio, as soon as you just like present it, they're like, oh yeah, you worked with them. Like, I can trust you. And it's all about this trust factor, right? It's all about this trust factor. And same thing with other, you know, whatevers. You work with Netflix, you redesign Netflix's website. You might not even actually do it. If you just make a mock-up or a template of a new Netflix website, and then you just present that to people, this is a site that I did for Netflix. You don't even have to say that you got like paid to do it. You could just say that this is a thing that you did for Netflix. And to be honest, people will just be like, oh snap, you did that for Netflix? Like, this is like great, bro. Like, yeah. Like, can you do that for us? People will sit there and do that. And that goes for every single creative industry. Let's see. What are other creative industries? So you got art, you got video, you got, what else is creative? Content creation. You know how many people got famous just by association? You know how many like, relationships, like guys and girls, they just like get famous off the other one. Like, they're just dating and then they just get famous just by default by dating that person. There are so many examples of it. I'm trying to think really hard. There was this couple that I used to watch when I was a kid. It was Jack and Gabby or something like that. Yo, he was actually running a YouTube channel. And then she was just dating him and then all of a sudden became famous. And now she like does content creation just by knowing him and got famous just by knowing him and being with him. Same effect, bro. All you have to do is just work with somebody that is well known and that people love and people envy and people just want to be, because people want to be other people. They just won't admit it. You know, why do you think so many people just sit there and talk about celebrities all day? Like, they just talk about celebrity drama all day. I can't go through, this is why I'm not really on TikTok, is because TikTok is just, I just find that it's always filled with some type of like weird celebrity drama. This day, it's Christmas Eve 2024. Right now, like I went on TikTok and I think they were talking about the one actress, Sydney Sweeney, her being like mid or ugly or something like that. Or like the guy from that one movie has a lawsuit against him for sexual harassment. And he's like one of those like feminist pro and sexual harassment stuff, right? And, you know, all that's going on. And it's just like people are so invested and always find something outside of themselves to be interested in. So again, like when you're thinking about this with your business, people are looking at other people. If you're a videographer, or if you're a videographer looking to work with dentists, the smaller dentists are looking at the big dentists' Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all that stuff and see what they're doing. They're just kind of like, you know, fantasizing with their like, if only I was them, you know? And they just like sit there focused on another person. you have to leverage that. You literally have to leverage that, and it'll build you a business alone if you just work on that. Do the free stuff for those people. Now, you don't have to. You could just pitch to those people. But if you're going to do any free work, do the free work for them. This is my brother. Hold on. Yo. What are you doing right now?
I'm on my way to college house.
Oh, you're on the subway or the train?
Alert.
Okay. I'm making a YouTube video right now. I'm still recording, but I was gonna ask you to be on it real quick.
Okay, like over the phone?
Yeah, over the phone.
All right, cool.
All right. Basically, I'm talking about, building a business and making a career out of like a creative fields and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically telling them how it really has less to do with the quality of your artwork or the value of your artwork and more about who you are and selling yourself. And I was talking about how, for me personally, maybe I might look at a Basquiat painting and I might be like, okay, it's a bunch of shapes and like colors and stuff. But because he has a personal brand and he passed away and now he's got all this value behind his stuff, it's worth something. And I was kind of referring that to you, like how, you have your artwork, but you being on all these publications has been able to get you a job as a school teacher, even though you have no formal education and all this other stuff. So like, I just wanted to see if you could kind of speak on that and like talk about how somebody could get into, not get into the creative space, but create something like a business or a life out of it.
Well, within the creative space, the biggest thing is that you have to understand the craft that you're working within. If you don't understand the craft that you're working within, you can't really understand how you can build a business from it. So first off, you need to learn the craft that you're going to be selling to the individual. Then once you get to where you understand your style, who you are, and what your art style is, specifically in my case as a painter, you can utilize that to create your own marketing funnel in a sense, because now you have your style, you have who you are, and you know what you do. So as an artist, you have to create in a sense of what you personally feel and believe in your heart is the story that you want to tell. I don't know if that makes any sense in any way, because it's a very long process. It's playing the long game. It's not like playing a short piece. Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. The ticket guy came. Can I start over?
Yeah. I mean, you can go. I'm not gonna edit it, so you can start over if you want to, though.
All right. Well, the main thing for me is, in my personal experience, what I know is that once you understand the craft, you can understand how you can market that craft.
Mm-hmm.
The first step that I did in my personal career, my journey, was painting, and it was studying the form of painting. Once I felt like I had a good grasp on understanding the form of painting and had confidence in showing my work to others, I started to do that, which gives you some type of traction. Then you start to build an audience. Your audience is a very important portion of what you're creating. The thing is that if you start to build an audience without understanding where you want to drive your audience and how long you want to have your audience, it could be detrimental to your career, or it could set you back a couple of years. At first, I was just going off of whatever audience would see my work. I did not understand in the long term who my audience would be for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started my career, I was just starting because I just felt as though that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to just prove that I could do the thing that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I proved that. But I I didn't give it any thought to think of what audience do I want to gravitate towards or want to accept me.
Mm-hmm.
So going through the journey of becoming a teacher in general and going through the path that I've gone down, I may not have the most traditional sense, but what I did was I went in and understood the lingo and the environment directly where it's at. So I sat in on CEC meetings. I sat in on different board meetings to understand what the education system is looking like. I asked many different teachers on different aspects of learning curriculum and English literature. So when I was creating my book, I had the thoughts of what would be best formed for a teacher to utilize. So I asked people who were already within the field and had many years of knowledge and experience and growing my own personal knowledge by asking them the right questions and the questions that would be beneficial for me to use in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on like the relationships that you decide to grab within the beginning of your career.
Mm-hmm. Now, how can you explain like how you were able to, I don't know, I guess leverage leverage different people that you knew or different, you know, how you were able to basically leverage yourself to create an income mostly in the painting space? Like how were you able to do that for yourself?
Well, it was based off of the people that I knew. It all is based off who you know and the relationships that you create. There's no, within the art world, nobody really, like, you can paint as many paintings as you want, but this art is subjective to people. And it is very hard for them to understand that art is subjective and they just buy off of who is related to them and who is like somebody they know. So by creating those relationships with people in those higher spaces and in those people in the collector's realm, that's how you can create wealth and sell higher end pieces that way. But there's other ways that you can go about doing that. Like most recently in what I'm doing now is I'm negotiating a mural with a scaffolding company for a school. And that's a several $1,000 job, you know? And that type of thing is a different situation than working with a regular individual collector. A collector is a little bit easier because you have one person to make that deal with. With this type of situation, you have multiple avenues that you have to go through just so you can get this thing approved with a specific vendor or company. So it's like it just depends on who you're targeting to sell a product to. It really depends. So if you're selling something to a regular mom and dad, there's three different forms of business that I conduct. So it's like with selling a book, right? I'm selling my book for $20. That's for anybody who passes by because most people can afford a $20 book. So it just is trying to invigorate them and give them excitement on purchasing that $20 book. Now, going to a mural sense, you're working with companies in large end companies. So you have to go through the bureaucracy of it. So you have to go to a principal or you have to go to the owner of the location, or you have to go to the scaffolding company that is insured to repair the place you're building. Those are more bureaucratic ways of obtaining income and funds. And then there's the individual collector, the person who just wants to buy a piece one-on-one, and that's a more of an individualized way of selling art pieces. Now, with the gaining publicity side and gaining public notice, a lot of those events that I had got published for were things that were free that I was a part of. And the thing is that a lot of those things spend a lot of money on a lot of those community events or organizations. They get a lot of publicity because it's free and people are going around to do those types of things.
Mm.
So being a part of that, it's a sacrifice that I'm sacrificing some of my time to be a part of these things to where I get publicity back and written articles back on it.
Mm-hmm.
When they ask me these different questions about what I'm working on or what I'm building and what I'm doing.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, because that was something that I mentioned was that you know, I don't believe in doing free stuff unless it's for somebody that you could leverage, right? If you're doing free stuff for just like Joe Schmo, I mean, sure, maybe Joe Schmo might refer you to one person, but if you're doing something for free for, say, somebody like, Netflix, and you're able to leverage it and show it to all the other production companies, the other production companies envy and want to be like Netflix. So if you did something for Netflix and get to say that you did something for Netflix, then like basically everybody's going to just want to be around you and be with you because they're trying to emulate what Netflix does.
Exactly.
So like, when you say that, I kind of think about how, yeah, you're doing something for free, but you're doing it in exchange for something of value to you, the publicity and like, people posting you and you having something to leverage later on down the line, or even like, in the current state.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in most cases, in the business that I'm personally running, all of it has come from the leverage that I've received previously. Like, I'll do something for free and somebody will call me back and be like, "Hey, I got this job for you," or I'll know somebody who knows somebody has someone who's interested in buying art, and I send them a piece. Or even like in the most recent case, I was in school one day and one of the teachers just got a new apartment. Was like, "Hey, do you have any pieces?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, this is what I had," and she purchased one of my pieces. So it's like those those types of things is like it's just based off of relationship. It doesn't really, when you're selling art or you're selling anything in that matter, it's based off of the relationships that you create. Or if you have a product that nobody's ever seen before or is way better than any of your other competitors.
Mm. Now, how exactly do you market something like that, like a product?
Well, with marketing a product, that is a lot harder to do and a lot it's really about making sure that the product is being pushed progressively throughout time. And really the time is what you're really looking at on based on who you are and how you're growing as a public figure. So like let's say if you have a product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it solves a lot of different problems that people are having, and you're trying to sell this product to somebody. Nobody knows you're trying to solve this product. So it's going to take time for people to understand that, oh, this thing actually helps to solve this product. So you have to do research and development. A lot of that research and development stuff is that people look into within these bigger companies is important because they have to research how they can get their product to the best optimal way of usage.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that when you're creating something new, in a sense, in my case, there is no template. So you're kind of just making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also doing the research and development part to see if people like it in the first place. So for people to understand and know that they like it in the first place, they get excited for the next product or the next thing that you create. And so you start to get more incoming revenue from people who already previously purchased your thing. And in my case, it will be a bulk order because most of the stuff that I've done is targeted towards working with schools and larger organizations because it's easier for me to push a larger number of that out than going from individual by individual, selling my individual copies of my book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you're at the point where you're just like trying to push as much weight as possible.
Basically.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, this video is about 30 minutes long now, so I think I'll probably end it off there. But thank you, bud, for saying something.
No problem. I hope it helped. I hope it sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Any last words for creative people?
Create for you, not for anybody else. Because when you're doing when you're creating a creative product, what people are looking for is you and that personality and what problems that you personally feel is important for you to solve. So when you're a young creative entrepreneur, keep that in mind that you are trying to create something that people resonate to because it resonates to you as well.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
All right. No problem.
All right. Get home. Get to Chloe safe, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right. My armpit was itching during that, but yeah, man, you heard it. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend himself. My brother. You just kind of gotta, create for you. Obviously he has a different perspective than me because he's really creative. Like he's really he's really passion driven. I'm more so business driven. I also enjoy what I do, but like that's not what drives the business aspect of it. But he definitely dropped some gems in there. Definitely like what I said is, what he said. It's who you know, man. It's who you know that'll carry you to the next level and forever and beyond. Your work can only get you so far, but the people that are around you. The biggest jobs that I've had have been through people, have been, oh, hey, I have this one person that, I'm coming from a job right now from, an engagement shoot, or from a proposal shoot, I should say. And that was a referral from somebody. That was a referral from one of my clients that referred me to, somebody, and they referred me to the actual groom that, was proposing. And, it's who you know. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're, going about your whole thing. Don't think that your art is gonna carry you to the finish line. The art is only gonna get you started. The stuff that's really gonna take you far are the people that you know. So be kind to everybody, and every job you have to treat it like it's the biggest job of your life. I think that's an important lesson that even I have strayed away from or not focused on as much because, of course, a $300 job, I'm just kind of like, it's whatever. But a $2,000 job, I'm like, oh yeah, like let's go. Like, I'm making sure everything is absolutely perfect. I'm editing for hours on end, just trying to get it looking crispy. So, you kind of got to get out that frame because that $300 client might very well be able to refer you to a $5,000 client. They might not have the bag to spend on you, but they might know somebody with the bag and they will refer you to them just because you put in the same amount of effort that you would put into, a big client. And that's where it really lies in, is constantly showing up. The biggest part is showing up. The biggest part is knowing who to know. The biggest part is being spoken about in rooms that you're not in. The biggest part is just being spoken about in general, being known, putting your stuff out there. You know how many people create and don't even post their stuff or don't even share it with anybody. I used to do that. I used to make music all the time. What I did was I would post a little snippet on my story, and then when I would not get 10 swipe ups saying, yo, this is fire, I'd just be like, okay, F it. I'm not doing music no more. I would throw it away. I would throw the song away and not, even proceed. And then I eventually just stopped making music, you know? But like, you have to put your stuff out there. I didn't get to where I am today in my business by, hiding my stuff and keeping it to myself. I don't know if that's a cop or not. Yeah, I didn't do it by just hiding my stuff and keeping it to myself. What I ended up doing was posting my stuff. I post like every day, at least on my story, and on my page, I have like well over 70 posts. I think maybe like 80 posts that I've done within one fiscal year. 1 year, I made those amount of posts. And it's kind of just like some of you are out here creating and not even putting anything out there. So 1, allow yourself to be seen. So post, share, whatever it is. 2, know who to know. 3, be spoken about in rooms. 4, give maximum effort to every single job that you get, small or big. Put maximum effort into that effort. And then, yeah, 5, I mean, just be passionate about it, Be passionate about it and be disciplined about it, because motivation will only get you so far. If you like what you do, make sure you pick something that you really like too. If you like what you do, you'll do it for free. And if you could do it for free, you can do it paid. So there you go, bro. Appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoyed this video.